I think the reality is that we also don't know what's going to happen in this country precisely because the plans, Bongbong's plans, have not been very clear. He says a thing or two about this project or that project. He says a thing or two about job creation, but as to how exactly he's going to accomplish all of that, not very clear. What is clear, though, is that he promises unity. And maybe that is what we can hold him to account.
So how was it that Marcos Jr. was able to persuade the country that he was the right candidate to solve these political problems in the Philippines, like dynastic politics, despite in many ways his family being symbolic of those very problems?
Because he has transcended all of that. The reality is that the Marcoses have read the sentiment of the public way ahead of everybody else by talking about unity and refraining from any hateful comments about any opponent, which has been useful for him to maintain that moral ascendancy as the candidate who would unite the Filipino people.
And there are a lot of people that will be celebrating this result, but there are also a lot of people that will worry that the Philippines is backsliding into a darker chapter of its own history. What would you say to those people who are really worried about the result of this election?
At one level, yes, I can understand that it's a regression on the part of our democracy and what we have accomplished as a people. But on the other hand, we also know that we have a much stronger and maybe much more vigilant civil society this time around. The fact of the matter is that within our civil society, we have people who are militant, vigilant, aggressive.
What lessons can other democratic countries draw from the experience of the Philippines at this election?
The Philippines could be a warning to many democratic societies around the world. The democracy, even in the 21st century, is fragile. Authoritarianism might be far more popular to the public as it now might be in the Philippines. But the only way for authoritarianism to fully prevail is when societies decide that they are giving up. And in the Philippines, that might be a message of hope to the rest of the world that in this country, not everybody is giving up, at least not just yet.